Hi there, Karen Lovely here. I know it has been way too long. I have been completely overwhelmed and everything magical. But it's overwhelm is overwhelm, and it has been, truth be told, a little stressful managing all of my dreams come true, all the things I've wished for, and they've manifested out of nowhere. Of course, we have the whole COVID thing, and the U.S. is having a lot of trouble with more cases and deaths and blah, blah, blah. And I'm adding that to my plate and taking care of just business. But it's really the maintenance. It's one thing to want to attract all your wishes and dreams. It's another thing to manage them. And so I've been super busy. But here's the biggest wish of all is to... My favorite part of my career, my purposeful career, is coaching my private clients. And believe it or not, during these times with everything going on in the world and not very powerful at all, I have more clients that I know what to do with. And this has been definitely another dream come true, because I have been wanting and wishing for other like-minded, like individuals to come toward me so that I could coach them to have their impossible dreams come true, to step up into leadership and their own entrepreneurial endeavors and make lots and lots and lots of money and be able to do what they want, when they want, how they want. And that is happening beyond belief. And so that's what's been happening overall. But here I am, and I'm so excited because we're on part 2. The law of attraction. I call it my principles of magnetization. But for this podcast, we're going with the law of attraction. And I am with one of my favorite guests, B from the Manifesting Squad. We did part 1, and she's back all the way from Germany here this morning for me, to talk about the law of attraction. Welcome, B. How are you? Yay!
Yay! Hey, Karen. Thank you for having me again. I'm so excited. The first time was already great, and yeah, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen today.
I love that. Yes. Well, you really inspired me in our part 1, the last podcast, in the law of attraction. And I don't know. I mean, I know the law of attraction. I function under that umbrella. But somehow your energy really had me key into it. And I thought, oh gosh, we got to do part 2. So we are going to discuss this. I'm going to start with my section of what I believe is so powerful, because I've done it over and over again. And then you have a beautiful topic we're going to discuss. I'm not going to spoil it. But let's first start with, in the law of attraction, what I find are people are afraid to even ask. You know, like people in general must be willing. We must be willing to ask for what we want and what we wish for and what would be the most magnificent dream come true in reality, in 3D. And I find across the board that most people don't truly ask. And especially with my private practice and my case studies, that I'll ask my clients and client prospects, what do they want for themselves in their life, like the biggest thing. And they'll tell me certain things, but as we dig deeper, the things they're asking for aren't their divine passion. And so they're not even asking for what they really want, because most people have no idea what they truly, really want. And then not only that, so you got to be willing to ask outside the box, ask for what you believe is possible that can happen, but also my forte, the impossible. I ask for so many crazy things that no evidence in a court of law could ever prove would ever come true in reality, over and over again. I mean, we're talking my dream ranch, and there's no money in the bank. It's not like I have this special, dream ranch fund, and there's all this money. No, that's not what happened. It's ask for the impossible. Number 1, ask. Then ask for what you really want. And if you don't know what you really want, go and dig deep and find out what you are so radically passionate about. And then ask for what you think is possible. And then for sure, just have fun, play the game. Go ahead and at least ask for one impossibility, impossible dream. Because you never know. It just may happen. And if it doesn't, you still are filled with that big, grand energy of everything's possible, even the impossible. And, just thinking about it makes us so happy. That said, B, what are your thoughts, questions? What are you thinking?
So I love the impossible take from you. And yeah, what I definitely see in people, I did this too. I was also afraid in asking what I really wanted. And the reason was that I thought, I won't be able to manifest it anyways, and then I will be disappointed, and it's better for me to be realistic, like this, always being realistic and not too dreamy, and really staying on a straight path. That keeps people, I think, in prison, I'd almost say, because they don't start to move in the direction that they truly want, that their heart truly desires, but they try to stay safe.
Yes, safe.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Staying safe is such a big topic. So nothing against planning or something, but it's just an emotional spaces where people think, if I wish for that, it's not going to happen anyways, and then I will be disappointed and I will be sad. It's better not to ask for what I really want. But that's so wrong, because if you never ask for what you want, how will you ever be able to make it your reality? Or even if you do not know what you want, even if you're afraid to ask yourself what you really want, to have a real conversation with yourself. Wait a minute, what are really my dreams? So we are so good when we are kids, we have all these big dreams, and I want to become an astronaut or something like that, and then we grow up and we totally lose that part, and are not even open with ourselves. So sitting down and just writing out, okay, what is it that my heart really desires? What would it be if I could wish for anything, if there was nothing that stops me, if I had unlimited time, resources, money, whatever, how would my life look like? So that's so powerful, to revealing your truth, to revealing what you really desire, and then you will be able to move in that direction, because then you start to know, okay, I didn't even know that I actually wanted to have this. But when you're honest and open to yourself, you will discover what your soul really desires, and you can start to move forward. You can start to attract it, and set the path in the right direction, and to take the right action to really attract the things into your life. So I really do love the thinking big. And there is one other thing. When you start to think big and think about the impossible, what you want to have the impossible, your mind's going to change. The mind, how your mind works. So usually people want to have small things like, okay, they want to have a job or a house or a relationship, and then they think, okay, how can I get that? But when you think, okay, I want to fly to the moon, or I want to have this extravagant life, or I want to have this ranch, or whatever it is, suddenly your mind will come up with different solutions, because you do not play small anymore. You see the big picture, and then you will see different and big opportunities that could come your way, and you will attract these opportunities your way.
Yes, exactly. And, what comes up for me is, and I know really what stops us, is the unconscious fear. But to simplify it is, I love hearing think big, but also the mind starts to align in a bigger way to help facilitate the thinking and believing big, which then fuels the attraction energy going out and coming back in. Yes? And I do believe that then that vibration goes out to the universe and things start to line up. No kidding. As they say, Abraham, law of attraction gurus and believers like us, something magical happens, things start to align. It's just the weirdest thing. You don't want to overthink it, but all I can tell you is that it works over and over again. One thing after another, it just shows up. In other words, the universe supports us in our dreams and wishes. And also, I want to emphasize right now, we are in very precarious times. We are in very mysterious times. Things we're going through are so surreal to me. And the energy, the collective consciousness, we are being ruled overall by a pandemic, but by fear, by caution, by rules and restrictions and constraints. So I want to say now more than ever, I see it as massive blessing in disguise to really, in this crisis, only through crisis are we most motivated to change, but I like to say transform and create newly, because we're seeing new things today in current times that we've never in history have ever dealt with. And so we're creating newly, and to counteract all the negativity in the air and the pessimism and the underlying tone of fear is to now more than ever go for every single solitary thing, dream, relationship, love, sex, romance, cars, horses, career, purpose, money, honey. Every and anything you could possibly ever dream of, now's the time to go get it. That's all I can tell you. Like, go. And I'm supporting you. B and I are supporting you. She is based in Europe, a manifestation coach, and we're saying go for it. B, what would you like to say to that right now from your point of view?
Yes. Absolutely. Everybody should go for it. Everybody should use this time. Maybe they stay at home, and they can really make use of this time right now. In every crisis, there's always opportunity, right?
Yes.
And instead of thinking small, like how can I earn an extra $1,000 on the side, or and earn an extra $1,000, think big. Start to think, how could I earn $10,000? Or you know what? How could I earn $100,000 a month? Really think big, and the universe will give you different answers, because you can ask for $1,000, totally fine, and then the universe will send you that answer. But if you start thinking and asking for what would it take for me to earn $100,000, actually, the universe will send you totally different answers, things that you never have thought of before because you haven't even asked for them. So now is the time. Go sit down and be open to anything that you can receive, to any answer, to any opportunity, to any idea. Start now and get the ball rolling.
Yes. And what's coming up for me is crisis just equals opportunity to dig and delve into self. Crisis equals an opportunity to really look at yourselves and be the source of miracles. Yes, that the crisis, my greatest crisis I've ever been through, of course, is the death of my sister. And it forced me. I had no other choice. And I was already digging deep. I was already, trying to figure myself out my entire life since I was a child. But now I see as a huge opportunity to invest in self, to really sit with self, to get to know you for the good and the bad, and love yourself unconditionally, and really take that time, yes, to journal and to do those deep dives into your heart and really what moves you, what excites you, what, absolutely fills your soul and your core being with so much aliveness and vibrancy and energy. And for me, I can tell you that just dancing by myself, I dance everywhere I go. I have my headset. Now when I go to the grocery store, my little checker, she's so sweet. She's like, "What? No dancing today?" And I go, "No, today I'm tired." And then all of a sudden I go, "You're right, I should be dancing." I go, "Hook, hook, 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 hook." And I just shake. I was just shaking a little bit. And sure enough, a customer came by and started laughing. And she's like, "Oh, very good." And I did nothing, but I lit up like a light bulb. Whatever that is, tap into that energy. And yes, then start asking away, make a list, put it out there, keep it to yourself. If you need a vision board or a dream board, do that. I don't even need one anymore. I encrypt it into my mind. I can see it because I'm very visual, but start asking. And I can't stress enough that now is the time more than ever to ask away and get what you want, what you need. Believe it is beyond possible, and that it actually is already in play. It's already happening as we speak, that things are lining up behind the scenes that you can't even see with the naked eye. And it's all happening and actually acting as if it's already done. What does that look like? Visualize that, meditate on that, draw it out. I had a client I did this exercise with a client of mine, and I said, tap into that energy, and what was that like? And I want you to write in detail all about it, and do your whatever you need to do on your whiteboard. And he went and drew a picture of what he was visualizing, and it was so incredible to see the picture. And so, yes, and look, I know you're thinking, oh, but so many people are feeling stressed out, and I need to help, and I need to be of service, and I need to do this. The best way to help other people is to help yourself first. Help yourself first. Empower yourself first. Nurture that inner child first and foremost. And here's why. Because when you do that and you start feeling so good about you and falling madly and passionately in love with you and your inner child, what I say 0 to 19 years old, the more you accept yourself unconditionally and acknowledge yourself and praise yourself for no other reason, because it feels good and you deserve it and you're worth it, you start to emit this energy that goes out, and all of a sudden you become somebody who's positive and optimistic. And right now we need this more than ever. That's what we want to be around. That was the energy that came from the woman in the grocery store as I was just shaking, like shake, 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 shake. And that's what we need. And it made her smile. And I could tell, because she had her mask on, I couldn't see her mouth smile, but I saw her eyes smile. And that's what we need. That's what we're looking for. That's what actually helps every human being and sets in the positive, high vibrational frequency of collective consciousness globally. Energy goes out, and the vibrational energy can travel across the globe. Yes? Can I get an amen up in here, B? Are you feeling this?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm saying go for it now, because when you're happier and less stressed and less worried and things are happening for you because you believe it and it's in your body and you're feeling it and you're exuding that energy, it seriously helps the next human being. It helps all beings, animals, plants. It makes everybody around you happier. That's what we need. We need more love, more happiness, more peace, okay, to counteract what's happening right now. So that said, all right, simply start asking, and no excuses. oh, it's a bad time, I can't happen, things are shut down, I lost my job, my husband lost his job, we're all losing our job. No, then ask for a new job, okay? Create a job, create your own business, whatever it is. No excuses. And you know what? Unless you're dead, nothing's an excuse. That's what I say. That's what I believe. And, we don't want you to be dead, but I'm saying that's I don't want to hear anything else because it's a lie and I can prove it over and over and over again. So no excuses. I don't want to hear but, no, I'm not listening. Not listening. Okay, B, what would you like to say to that?
I love that. And I also love the point where it says self-love is so important and knowing that you're worth of what you're asking.
Yes.
Because if you do not deep down love yourself and believe that you deserve it, how on earth will you ever manifest it? You're the first person who needs to see it in their mind and to believe that it can come and that you deserve it to happen. And that's the magic thing to manifesting. Know your worth, ask for it, and then be open to receive. Even start to ask for whatever it is. Get used to asking. Start to ask for help. Start to ask the universe for anything that comes to your mind. So you really practice it and to get into that vibe that you deserve everything that you ask for and that you can manifest everything that you can ask for. And if you start to practice it, you will see with your own eyes that it's possible, and you will start to believe in yourself even more and more, and that's when the magic happens. That's when your life starts to change and everything unfolds in front of you like it has never done before.
Yeah. And, the saying goes, watch out for what you wish for. Because when it starts happening, you're going to freak out on that too. Okay? And all the more to go, wait a minute, I deserve this, I'm worth it. And we never have to justify our worth. We never have to prove it. And we never have to have a certain amount of success or a certain amount of money or a certain relationship. No. That you define yourself from your perceptions, your self-worth, and your self-deserving. You never have to say, well, I don't deserve because I don't do enough and I don't have enough. And no, absolutely not. It's completely counterintuitive, is that our circumstances and everything outside of ourselves, our external conditions and our materialism has no way, shape, or form any defining energy or power to define you as worth it. With nothing, no money, no career, no purpose, not helping one person, you are just as worthy and deserving as every other freaking human being on this planet. All the humans on planet Earth. And that's what I truly believe. That's something that I learned. I'm thinking, no, my worth was based on my results, what I was achieving, what I was accomplishing, the more successful I was. And it was complete opposite. I felt worse and worse, not better and better, until I learned and started training to understand that nothing and no one defines me. Only I define me based on my perceptions and how I feel. And I never, ever, ever have to prove anything or to anybody ever. Is that self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance, self-respect, and self-deserving comes from you just believing in yourself for no other reason, because you can, and it feels right, it feels aligned, it feels luscious, it feels great. And that's what I want to say about that. B, would you like to say anything on that?
Yes, I love that, and I see that in my practice over and over again. I just had recently a client who thought he needs to work hard in order to deserve opportunities, that opportunities cannot just come her way. But when we changed that up for her, when we started to say, I deserve things, opportunities come my way easily, I can manifest easily, I earn money for who I am, That's when her life started to change and opportunities just started to pop everywhere, literally in her inbox, on the street, a random phone call, everywhere. These opportunities were just thrown at her. And she's an artist, and she got so many gigs, even during Corona. I mean, that's really crazy. Yeah, she's already hired for next year. She's booked out now.
Wow.
Theaters and everything. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Keep it coming, girlfriend.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that only happened because she changed her whole energy. And when she went to an audition, people just picked her. They just picked her because she had this amazing receiving energy of knowing and that she was deserving of these opportunities. And that totally changed her life.
Oh my God, what a beautiful story. And that's exactly how it works. Exactly everything I said. And case and point. You see this? Case study and point. And I have so many of my own I could say, but I want to talk about a topic that you, when I asked, what would you like to discuss? And you nailed it with, becoming a receiver. And so let's move into this because you mentioned it. And I want to hear your take on what it takes to become a receiver. And what do we need to know from your point of view?
So first of all, you need to set the intention to become a receiver. That's when you start to shift your energy, where you say, I am a receiver and I can receive with ease. So setting out the intention, then thinking about everything that is blocking you from being a receiver, like thinking opportunities are hard to get, money is hard to earn, and all these beliefs that you have in your subconscious mind. So write them out, throw them out, write them on a piece of paper, burn it, bury it, so they get out of your energy field, and then start to practice on the street, small things, start to practice with your friends. You can say to your friends, when you're hungry, just say to your friends, you know what, I'm hungry, and then see what happens. They will offer you something, they will invite you, or say to them that you need help with something. Just starting to allow help and those things, that energy to come into your life, to open up, to be a receiver and allow it, and stop blocking it, stop thinking you're going to bother people and you cannot ask and it's too much and you don't deserve it. So stop that, throw that out, and start to practice even with the little things, and then move on to the really big things.
Yes. Right. I say gradually build. Gradually build, is your best bet. Slow and steady wins the race in this regard. And start to go, yes, it's working, and re-presence over and over again, then go to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And earlier I was just saying, don't be afraid to ask for the impossible along the way. But the best bet for sustainability is, start to just put a little bit out there, and more comes back and more comes back. And that is one of the, that's how I've built my business, little by little, one client at a time. And now and it starts to snowball effect. So I want to ask you personally, what was your big blockage to receiving be when you started to do this for yourself?
One of the biggest blocks I had was that I'm not smart enough and that I cannot do it.
Say that again. You're not smart enough.
And that I cannot do it on my own. So I always loved to work with people, but I never had the confidence in starting this business because I thought I'm not smart enough. I won't be able to do it. So I didn't ask, right? I never asked because I always thought I cannot do it. And sure enough, if you never ask, it will not show in your life.
Right.
And once I discovered that and I got rid of that block and I thought, you know what, I can do it. Other people can do it. I'm smart enough. And I gonna start it. So that's when, of course, the results started to come in. Because I started to ask simple as that. If there is no big magic or anything like that, I just asked and I decided, you know what, I'm going to ask for this business and I'm going to decide that I'm smart enough that I can do it. And then, like in your example, step by step, people started to come in. They started to love what I do, how I work with them. And then word of mouth started to spread, and now people just come in.
Yes.
It's simple as that.
Yes. Okay, so I want you to think back. How did you figure out, how did you get past the obstacle of not thinking you were smart enough and that you can't do it on your own? You know, what catalyst do you remember?
I think the biggest thing is to realize it. I remember I started to journal and write about my thoughts, and I remember one day I woke up in the morning and it just popped in my head. It was really, yes, I woke up and I knew.
Wow.
That was the universe work, the higher power that sent me the answer, because I was journaling, I was trying to figure out what's going on, and it happened overnight. It really happened. I woke up in my bed and I knew.
Okay, so you asked, though. You were asking for it. Get it? You know, you're asking for it. Yes, you were literally and figuratively asking for it. You were doing the work and asking, for what you needed.
Exactly. So I wanted to have an answer. I wanted to know what was going on, why I wasn't able to live the life that I wanted, why I was stuck in a job that I literally hated, that was sucking out all my energy, why I didn't have a life that I enjoyed. Although I was trying to be positive and to be grateful and to visualize, but there was this underlying issue, and only when I really started to, okay, what is the issue? Dear universe, please send me the answer. I don't know it. I surrender, and just let me know what is the issue here that I cannot see. And then, simple as that, really the answer popped into my head.
I love
the universe will send you the answer. If you ask for it, it will show up. So go for it and ask.
And I love surrender. That means we have to let go of ego. We have to humble ourselves. We have to be willing to hear the answers and trust that the answers will come really out of nowhere. So they're moving parts, but again, we're back to the ask. And I love surrender. Surrender to the process. Allow yourself not to know. Allow yourself to be in, I don't know the answer. I'm asking for the answer. I'm not attached or expect the answer. I'm just going to allow the process to unfold as it's meant to and let it go. That's what I'm hearing. B is again, being willing. A lot of times we're moving so fast and we're so distracted by so many things today that we're not even sitting still to remember to ask. And we're not sitting still to listen to ourselves and hear the answers that come. And I believe it's an intuitive, spiritual component. But don't you find that so true? The hustle and bustle of life, people trying too hard, forcing things to happen in fear, trying to overcompensate. And it's so counterintuitive again, is it was in your sleep, you woke up. And I know that subconscious mind and the unconscious mind has a party bad or good, in sleep. And so because you were doing the journaling and you were asking and you surrendered, B, the answers just came. The answer just showed up. And we just want to sit still long enough to hear the answers. Otherwise, we miss it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I know you can relate to
Yes.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Especially the surrender part is so important, that you let go. And it's okay. Just say it's okay that I don't know the answer. The answer will come to me when I'm open to it.
Yes.
And just setting again that intention to letting go and to stopping trying to force it, to going after something with so much energy that it exhausts you. Stop doing that, and instead really set the intention, ask, and then take inspired action. I'm all about taking action, but it should be inspired action, and it should not come from a desperate place, but a place of really knowing and being inspired and having faith that you will take the right steps, and the right steps, things will unfold in front of you. And once you let go and you co-create with the universe, you collaborate with the universe to create your life, that's when things really unfold and happen for you. So not when you really force something to happen so bad, and very often that goes in the wrong direction, because that's not the path you should be on. If you have to force really too hard, then it's a sign of, okay, this is probably not what is meant for me. But if you take inspired action and then do what you can, and then have the universe come your way and showing you what else to do, that's a sign that you're on the right path.
Yes, absolutely. And I love meant to be. As you're speaking, I'm just, remembering all the things. The more I tried to force it, the longer it took. When I just let it go and almost forgot about it. Like, really. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I asked for this horse. And here she is. Oh, here he is. It is when it's meant to be. When it's meant to be. And that takes blind faith. Absolutely, that inner knowing and inner trust. And that can be a little precarious for different personality types, but we can't, don't knock it till you try it. And it's a practice. Is when it's meant to be, it shall be. And it's so true. And the more we surrender into that, the more I personally, so fast and furious, I receive, and it shows up out of nowhere. I mean, literally delivered for free and dropped off, hand walked down my driveway. The little puppy that I just asked for, the reincarnated puppy of my dog that I lost at the vet from anesthesia. It was so profound, but it was when I least expected it, had no expectations. I knew it would happen. I was doing all the work to bring her back, to bring the spirit, the angel spirit of my little rescued dog that had passed away. I was devastated. And I actually, when I wasn't working, I was laying in bed researching spirit animals, spirit mediums, pet mediums, you name it. And I said, because I know I'm getting her back, like over time. I know. And when I least expected it, I let it go. I said, you know what? Not meant to be right now. So I'm going to move on. Maybe I'm meant to have another horse. And sure enough, out of nowhere, my neighbor calls and said, hey, listen, I want to show you something. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm too busy. I actually said no. She goes, oh,
Wow.
I know. I said no. She didn't tell me. It was a surprise. And I said, no, I'm so sorry. I'm really busy. What's up? And then she knew. She sends me the picture. And I go, she texted it, and I said, oh my gosh. And I looked, and And it wasn't what I wanted it to look like. She didn't look exactly the same as Angelica, the little puppy. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll look at her. Again, do you see this? I was over it. I was like, oh, it's not meant to be. And no, I don't think she's the one, but I love animals so much. And she was this little puppy. And I said, and the picture was kind of weird. Sometimes pictures, it looks a little awkward. Well, that's what the picture looked like. And then I was like, okay, well, all right, let me finish work. And then, come on over. And sure enough, she walks down the driveway holding this little tiny puppy. And I'll tell you something. At first, I was still like, I don't think so. But I still took her. I said, okay, I'll take her because she's an animal. She's an animal. I'm taking her. Okay, B, she is exactly the exact image and spirit of my deceased Angelica, the little tiny deerhead chihuahua I rescued off the street with visible scars. She was homeless, no collar. She's 5 pounds or less. And that's the one that passed away. And I get this other dog that I was like, no, I don't think so. And I'm telling you, it's exactly Angelica all over again. And here's how I know. Because she did all the same habits. No joke. All the same habits as Angelica. So my new puppy, Millicent, now is doing things. She even chewed the end of my shoelace. And I have 2 other dogs. And no other dog has ever done that. And one day she just chews. She also acted like she was homeless and didn't eat. The same habit. There were so many identical habits that my other 2 dogs never, ever did. Ever. And there were just signs. And there were so many things identical. The way she acts, the way she spins around, the way she's hyper. Every single thing. And I tell you, I even call her Angelica because that's her middle name. Millicent Angelica. And I tell you, she responds to the same name. I could go on, but I'm telling you, there are things that have blown me away that I said, oh my gosh, this is Angelica. She's come back. And I just think it's so interesting because I was like, no, I'm not, my neighbor's like, oh, I want to show you something. And I was like, oh, I don't have time for this. I have to work, And it was weird how I was just like, no, I'm good. And there she was, waiting for me out of nowhere. And to this day, over and over again, I'm just moved to tears thinking about it. And it's just exactly like, we had a movie here called The Dog's Journey. And the dogs has something, 2 movies about the reincarnation of dogs. And I don't know if you ever heard of them here in the U.S., but it was all about dogs reincarnating, over and over again. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't need the movie. I'm living it. But my point is the mystery. The mystery, you just don't know. It happens when you've surrendered and you believe it's meant to be. And that's the point I really want to make. And I'm emphasizing these particular points because in general, these are the biggest things that people have trouble with in the receiving, is we get in our own way about it. And if you are the epitome of when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I love that energy. That's what draws me to you after you reached out to me, is every time I'm so sorry, I'm so busy, we can't do part 2 of the podcast. And you're like, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. With your beautiful B, get it? B. Okay, that's why your name is B. I just made that connection. When it's meant to be, that's you. And I'm getting angel chills right now. Is that true? And I'm like, oh, so right. Yes, that's who you are for me. Is when it's meant to be, B-E-E, how you spell your name. And so anyway, is there anything else you'd like to add to that? Of it? Anything I just said?
I love that topic. First of all, I believe in reincarnation and that spirits come back and everything. So I'm so happy for you that your dog found you again and that you're together. Mm-hmm. Yay! And yeah.
I know, it's so sweet. You're so sweet.
And then, yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I love that story.
Yeah.
And you stayed open. You didn't know. Okay, that's what happens. Most people have like a picture in their head that's gonna happen and so on, and that's what I want, and they really only see that one option for them. But what you did, you stayed open. It was okay. It's not the way that you thought it's going to be, but still you allowed it into your life. You still went there, and then it happened, and that's so important to not to focus on just one picture that you have in your mind. That things that's meant for you can come in different ways, or in different shapes, or in shapes that you did not expect it them to be. So staying open and allowing these things that are really, really meant for us just to come into our lives is so important, and it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful example. Even if you think in the beginning, I'm not sure, I don't know if that's really what's meant for me, but then give it a try and see how it feels. And if it feels right, then you'll know that that was the thing that's meant for you.
And it's so simple, but not so easy, and the only thing I can tell you is that don't knock it till you try it, and look backwards to see. This is what really has helped me. Is at first I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't want to hear that. I resist. I don't think so, for whatever reasons. And the thing that really got me, not just in the law of attraction, but in my whole transformational journey, is that I had to face reality, the reality check of looking backwards at my life and realizing I can sit here and resist right now, but if I'm resisting now, I've been resisting in every aspect of my life, looking backwards, and none of it worked. The resistance didn't work. In objective reality, things did not pan out, did not fulfill me or make me happy looking backwards. And that's when I had to humble myself and surrender into the new process, even if I wasn't quite convinced, even if I was resistant. That what I believe be that this is one of the biggest obstacles for people, is the underlying resistance to try something new. And the only way that I was willing to try something new, with not fully buying into it and believing it, was realizing the way I had been believing in my past, the way I've been functioning, the things I was doing, nothing was working to the degree in which I desired most, and also to the degree in which I was sitting in the present, in my present reality. Does that make sense? I saw that, I can sit here and resist, but if it wasn't working all along in my life, the way I had been doing things, and the way I was functioning in life, and the belief systems that I was in playing out, I saw they're very limited. I was limiting myself. I was getting in my own way by resisting trying something new, not knowing what it's going to look like. And then the next thing was, oh no, what if it doesn't work? And then I had a coach, mentor say to me, Karen, I don't think you're afraid of it not working. I think you're really afraid if it does work. And that blew me away as I stood in the front of the room crying in front of 35 people in this course I was taking. And I was just like, all of a sudden a big, huge light bulb came on. And I was like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. He was so right. And I could not debate him. I had no more excuses left. I had to admit to myself that I was the problem. I was getting in my own way. I was resisting even the possibility. And so I really want to share that with people, because that has been one of the biggest obstacles for me in receiving, and also really going for what I truly want and desire most. And I was resisting the receiving of it. Does that make sense, B? It's deep. You know,
Yes.
I was putting up walls that I didn't even know in my resistance. So when we're in resistance is just a symptom of fear. When we are triggered into fear, we're in fight, flight, freeze mode. And so when we're in that mode, there's no room for receivership, is there? It's impossible to receive when we're in fear. And so it takes an enormous amount of courage to be a receiver. Doesn't it, B? It takes a lot of courage.
It does.
Yeah. And that, more than anything, we can say to face the ability to receive. Oh, you ready? With no obligations. With no, because a lot of times I remember, what's stopping me from receiving is like, oh no, now I got to give something back and I'm too exhausted, right? I'm too depressed. I can't give back.
Yeah.
Is no, you receive unconditionally. Unconditional receiving. Unconditional, meaning I'm saying be willing to receive wholly, unconditionally, and never, ever, ever have to give back. And don't resist that either. That is super deep, isn't it, B? Don't feel like you need to give back. And feel this sense of obligation. Because that's what stopped me a lot of times from receiving, is like, oh no, now I'm obligated. I don't want to obligate. So don't give me anything. I don't want to feel obligated. You see this? How weird. Then I would not receive things that I've been asking for. Help, right? Expertise, people to help, me gain more enlightenment and wisdom. So, wow, I love this conversation, B. So magnificent. Is, again, the ability to receive unconditionally, no obligation to give back, and that's the practice. Because I also believe as you receive unconditionally because you believe you're worth it, you're actually, again, counterintuitive, you're actually more inclined to want to pass it forward, to pay it forward, to give back to the next person learning how to receive. And it will show up out of nowhere with no obligation. It's organic. It's natural. It will happen when it's meant to be. Oh, B.
Yes.
Would you, anything you'd like to say? We're about to wrap it up here. Time flies when we're having fun.
Yeah. So say yes to life. Say yes to the things that are sent your way, and be open and accept them and play with them. Let life and the world be your playground where you can say yes and where you can have fun and enjoy the moment. And also by listening to this episode, it has such a high vibration, I have to say, and it just opens up the energy flow. Yeah, absolutely. So we're about to wrap it up here, but I want to know from you, what are you personally calling in? Any specific wishes you'd like to put out to the universe and share with us? You don't have to. Yeah, so I can. So right now I am calling in more love into my life.
More love into your life. So when you say that, is there anything specific? Because we do want to be specific when we start wishing for things. I highly recommend we're specific. You want to say a little bit more about that?
So I already lived so much love, but I want to experience even more love in my life. And I'm very specific about the emotion, but I'm open to the way that it's going to come into my life.
Okay, that's beautiful. Like, part of me is like, oh, I want to hear more. So I guess we're going to have to do another podcast. Oh my God, but I love it. You know what? But I'm not going to, I know it's time for you to go. But I just want to say I love hearing that. And I want to set that intention for you and for the world. Yes? That we're all open to more love. I'd love to call that in. I'm going to borrow that from you. Yes? And so then I want to say, I want and wish for more unconditional love for humanity right now. Yeah. That's what I really wish for. And I don't know what that looks like either, but you started the ball rolling and I'm going to jump on board. And I want to leave it at that today. Yeah. The power of self-evolution. Evolution. And the reason why I capitalize the EVOL is because it's love backwards. The word love backwards. And I love that so much. So I'm wishing love, unconditional love, mad passionate love to every single human being on the planet, equally, abundantly, infinitely. And may all of your most passionate dreams come true right now more than ever. And B, of the Manifesting Squad, I will have all her contact information in the description. Thank you so much for your beautiful, uplifting spirit and energy, and for this podcast today. You always light me up. Woo! The energy, you always. Woo! In your in our podcast, only our second podcast, but in all our correspondence and our emails back and forth. So I'm wishing you love in a deeper way right back to you, and I can't wait to hear what that looks like, and in our next podcast down the line. So thank you. You're so wonderful, and wishing you all over there in Europe and Germany such miracles right now and profound magic. Okay, and we will talk to you again. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
So, of course, thank you again for having me. I always love to talk to you, and also sending a lot of love and light to the globe, to everyone who's listening or even not listening, and let's raise the vibration of love together.
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you all for listening, and until next time, we are wishing you such incredible, luscious, scrumptious, unconditional love. Thank you so much.